Salute Lottie Dottie. Yep, it's your boy Retro with you on today. Actually, making my way down to the church house, as they would say. It's church time, and these are my church clothes. Hopefully, everybody's having a great morning so far, and if not, you still got time to turn it around. Yeah, sometimes before it turns around, you got to think it around. Yeah, and think it so is he, or so he shall become. So the power of thought is really powerful, ladies and gentlemen. And so let's think this thing through. Let's think this thing through. And when you're thinking it through, make sure you think on the right things. Some of us, we don't have a problem thinking. We just keep thinking the wrong things. I don't want to stop at the stoplight, guys. Y'all forgive me. All right, we made it through. No problem. All right, so I often say, be very careful because the devil will give you a thought, make you think you thought the thought, then condemn you for thinking you thought the thought. So the reality is, folks, some of us are thinking on the wrong things. Yeah, some of the stuff you're thinking on has nothing to do with you. You just included yourself. Ooh, man, I'm preaching. I'm preaching real good this morning. As a matter of fact, I might have to go back and rewatch this and take some notes. I might have to preach a sermon out of that. But yeah, be very careful not to insert yourself in situations and circumstances that ain't none of your business. At any rate, it's a beautiful day here in the Carolinas. The sun is shining nice and bright, so much so that it'll fool you and make you think that it's not as cold as it is. But as I am traveling at 47 miles per hour, it is 42 degrees, and getting ready to hit the interstate. And that 42, excuse me, that 42 is going to feel a lot colder. Um, so let me see. With that said and done, I could thug it out. Maybe I will. I got my mittens in the back and my tour pack, and because I always say the weather doesn't dictate whether or not we ride, but the gear we wear when we ride. And so, and since I'm just going to church, 20-minute ride, if that, maybe I'll just thug it out. I was going to pull over and pop my mittens on, which cover my handlebar, and but I think I'm gonna thug it out. It is what it is. Um, but as we are here riding and talking with you, I hope that, like I said, you are on track to have a good day. And if your day has started on the wrong foot, then realize you still have plenty of time to turn it around. And here's what I used to tell my kids: don't let a few bad moments ruin an entire 24 hours. So just because your day started on the wrong foot, hey, you know, consider that, hey, the cost of living. I don't know, cost of doing business. It is what it is. You still got, look how many more hours to focus on. Okay, so don't let a few bad moments ruin an entire 24 hours. You could spare those few moments. Yeah. All right. So turn that thing around and begin to think on those things that are lovely, those things that are just, those things that are pure, and if there be any virtue. Yeah. I think it's in the book of Peter. It talks about that. Those are the things that we got to think on. All right. You don't want to give your power to the wrong source. Jordan, God bless you. Thank you for precious play. What's that other name? Fayez. I might have butchered that, but thank you for precious play as well, and thank you for that drive safe. I definitely appreciate that because the reality is when we're out here, we're not just driving for ourselves. We got to drive for those who are shaving, eating, texting, and who knows what else. People do all kind of stuff on the road, man. And so when we're out here, we can't just drive for ourselves. And I think that's a teachable moment right there because we think because we've gone to safety classes and we've gone to, make sure we're good at what we do, that we're good. No, you're not. You gotta be on the lookout for those who have not done what you have done because usually that's where the problem is. So, yes. And the thing about it is, in this temperature here, now I got on my small gloves. These are really not the gloves I should have on for this temperature, but they're really comfortable, and I can operate my phone and everything, so I tend to wear them more than I should. But my point is, in this type of weather when it's cold and you're uncomfortable, that plays a role in your response time. You know, if your hands are halfway frozen, you know, you're not going to be moving like you should be. And when it comes time to react or respond in situations, which is why it's so important to have the right gear. All right. Now, again, I just got a 15-minute, 20-minute ride down the road. I consider myself to be an experienced rider. That don't mean nothing because, like I said, no matter how experienced you are, if they're inexperienced, they're the ones that's going to cause you a bad day. However, you know, I'm good with a little uncomfort, if you will, if there be a word. Uncomfort, is that a word? Well, anyway, even though I'm a little uncomfortable as it relates to the cold temperatures, I'm somewhat used to it. So, you know, I'm good. And again, I don't have very far to go. Man, I tell you, I've been seeing so many deer on the road. It's just like unbelievable. Unbelievable here on this corridor of I-77. It's a beautiful day today. We're going to be meeting with the team, Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry, in the building. Make some noise for our monthly meeting. We got quite a bit of stuff to go over and discuss. And they don't know it yet, but we're going to go and debut the restaurant that we'll be eating at for the Genesis ride. We're going to go and check it out before we bring you guys there. So that's our plan today. I guess I let the cat out the bag. We'll have our monthly meeting, and then we'll take a little ride together as a team, and we'll go and check out the restaurant. It is a Bohemian restaurant, so if you're wondering, what in the world are you talking about, Retro? January 1st, every year we do what we call, what many of you guys call the first ride of the year, and what we call the Genesis ride. It's normally about a 45-minute to an hour ride through, you know, the back roads, curves, and sometimes we even touch the interstate. This year, 2025, we won't be on any interstate. So you can expect a very laid-back, comfortable ride through the country and back roads. As I said, it'll be about 45 minutes to an hour, and we will end at a local eatery, and in this case, it's going to be a Bohemian restaurant, and we're holding off on the name intentionally, but we'll share that with everyone soon. And when we end at the restaurant, we normally, you know, of course, acknowledge our guests and thank them for making our agenda a part of their day and starting the new year off with us. I think it's important the way you begin anything. The most important part of anything is the beginning and the end. And so, again, we are a Christian organization, and so you can expect, as I said, a cool, laid-back ride. We'll end it at the restaurant, acknowledging our guests, those that came to be with us. We will then do a recap of 2024, sharing some highlights and some lows that we as a ministry encountered and went through and overcame, and so on and so forth. And then we will then cast vision for 2025, sharing what the Lord has laid on our heart as it relates to what we are to do in this portion of the vineyard at such a time as this, okay? And who knows? Once we cast vision and you hear the vision, without a vision, the people perish. And right now, some people are perishing because they're not attached to any kind of a vision, okay? And so when we cast vision, who knows how it may resonate with your spirit, with your soul, and in your heart, you know? You may realize that, you know what? This is what I need to be a part of. It is not for that purpose, but it certainly can play out that way. And so we'd love to have you if you are interested in becoming a part of Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry. We believe in encouraging and nourishing a love for motorcycling, while at the same time a respect for the motorcycle community. Okay, winning souls to the kingdom 1 mile at a time. So very simple, and as well as very intentional. Okay, hence the name Kingdom Alignment. All right, so it's all about His will and not our will, His way and not our way. Sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, saints and names, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, you must forget what you think you know and learn what you don't. All right, okay, I've said enough. Enough said. And some of us will never learn what we don't know because we have yet to stretch ourselves. We have yet to leave from our familiar circles. Okay, I better leave that alone. Some folks will never learn what they don't know because they oppose everything that looks like a challenge. They oppose everything that looks like it might stretch them. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you this: the truth will not only set you free, the truth will stretch you. The truth will challenge you. Yeah, every man's way is right in his own eyes. But the truth doesn't care about what you think or how you feel. Now, love does, but truth doesn't. The truth is just going to speak it. It is what it is. Now, as a disciple of Christ, as a believer in Christ, more importantly, as a born again believer, we must take the truth, which doesn't care how you feel, and we administer it in love. So that means, Paul said it best, I believe. He said, everything that's lawful is an expedient. And so, yes, this is true, but I must cloak it, I must cover it, I must administer it in love. Because people don't care what you know until they know that you care. Jesus said it this way: by this shall all men know that you are my disciples, because you have love one to another. So I must speak the truth, but I must do it in love. Otherwise, we can go to the book of Corinthians. I think it might be chapter number 12, or is it 13? But nevertheless, it says, if you have not love, you have become like a tinkling cymbal and a sounding brass. You could have all the truth in the world, but if you don't have love, you're an annoying sound. It is what it is. Now, I'm going to speak the truth, but I'm going to love you every step of the way. I'm going to be considerate of your feelings, though I'm not going to be hindered by your feelings. Let me give you a quick example out of the Word once again. There was a man in the Bible by the name of David. We spoke about him this morning. We went live on Facebook. Go check out my Facebook page if you're curious as to what we said about David. But in the Bible, there's a man by the name of David. David was king, and but David got himself in some trouble. And I'll elaborate on the trouble at a later date because it's been really in my spirit, and I'm going to talk about this thing in detail. But the trouble that he got into, it was not unnoticed. And there was a man by the name of Nathan who was a prophet, and he knew the truth, but he also knew the importance of walking in love. So he goes to David, and he gives David a true story about a man who had a little lamb, and how the king comes and takes the man. The Bible, King James Version, called it a little ewe lamb. And the man loved this animal not as a pet, not as an animal, but more as a pet. Handled it, almost as if it was part of his family. And it was the one little sheep that he had, the one little lamb that he had. And the king here has access to, surplus. So instead of going to grab one out of his surplus, he goes and he grabs the only one that this little man had, took it, killed it, and made it ready for a feast. And when David was told the story, it appealed to the shepherd in him. And he understood what it was like to love and to cherish and to, and so he said, this man should be put to death. And Nathan looks at David and says, thou art the man. So the point is, he broke it down to David. He gave him the truth, but he gave it to him in a way that he could understand, in a way that he could, tap in. But he did not neglect from speaking the truth when he said, that's you I'm talking about. And you know what David did? David repented. He repented as a result. So, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, we want to thank you for pressing play. I'm not too far from the church, and it is a beautiful day. Again, it's temperature is fastly rising from Statesville to Mooresville. We went from 42 degrees to 49 degrees. So if that's any indication as to how the rest of this day is going to go, then we're looking pretty good. It is November, so we're not going to be up in no 80s or 90s. I believe the temperature for today, the forecast for today is the high 60s, which I'll take that in November. High 60s with sunshine. Oh yeah, yeah, I'll take that. So as I said, I am almost at my location, and I've got to get one of those um, absorber things or whatever to keep my phone from bouncing all around. It's doing some strange things, and I know why, because all of the vibration coming from the handlebar. But but yeah, so we're in the high 60s today, and that's great for a nice winter ride, which we will do later on today. So if you're in the Carolina area and you want to come hang out with Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry, affectionately known as the Cam Fam, holla at your boy. We'll send you the address, and you can come ride with us, hang out for the day. We're gonna eat. Definitely, we're gonna eat. We love to eat. Yeah. But right now, we gotta get ready to serve the word, the bread of life. So y'all pray for us that the Lord will use us to speak revelation, insight, et cetera, on this morning here at Upper Praise Ministries. Again, if you're looking for a place to worship, come join us. Service starts at 11 a.m. and we're located at 442 Westmore Avenue in Mooresville, North Carolina. All right, guys. I love you with the love of God. Y'all be blessed.